But what you're going to see is that price often likes to do the same thing with support and resistance, but instead of being equal highs and lows, as we talked about, where it was on the same exact level, in a trend line, think of it as we've shifted it now. So instead of like when we were talking about our consolidation, right? Consolidation is very much a sideways relative equal highs and low, right? Remember, we talked about that over here. We looked at the daily chart, and the daily chart on gold gave us this nice little consolidation over here. We talked about that. Now, the interesting thing is that what do we have inside of that consolidation? Well, we have quite a few relative equal highs because they're relatively the same top, and some relative equal lows because they're relatively the same low. Same concept, all right? But with trend lines, instead of doing this with your highs and lows, now you're just going to move the chart and change the direction. Whether it's going to go up or it's going to go down, that is going to be what your trend line does. Well, when you have two different lines like this, we call it a channel. But if we take one of them and we put them across some wicks are really good options, we'll find ourselves with some pretty cool looking channels or trend lines. So for example, maybe I like this one, right? And it touched right there. There's that one, there's that one. Price gave us a nice bounce twice. Now twice isn't really enough, so we like to see more than that. But if you remember that everything is not going to be perfect, you want price going in a specific direction. Trend lines, as you can see here, we have a bounce and a bounce and a bounce and a bounce and a bounce, almost got there, and then we bounced again, okay? So the idea would be that if you are paying close attention to what the price is doing, what the pattern is doing, then you may be able to find that maybe when I get right here, I might not want to go long anymore because now I've essentially found myself at another ceiling. Price is bouncing off of this ceiling, it's falling, hitting, falling, hitting, falling, hitting, falling, etc. Maybe when price gets here, I want to know about it because I don't want to try and trade up at that point. Now, does that mean that price is never going to do that? Well, of course not, because what happened over here? Well, price made a low, and then it made some more lows, and it made some more lows, so bounce, 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 bounce. But then, when price was done, there's your displacement, right? These are important things to keep in mind. So